Hey angels, this is the weekly reading. We'll begin with the dice and party. Yes. Dirty movie. And Wet and Wild. Party may have to do with the sun entering Taurus. Maybe somebody's celebrating their birthday. Or the sun exiting Aries. Maybe somebody's celebrating their Aries birthday before it's over. I just saw birthday. All right. Romantic dinner. Your choice. All about free will. No, which also came up in the moon reading. So the answer to the question is no. And then we got 29, spiritual partnership. Some type of soulmate. Doesn't have to be romantic. But it is potentially. The next card is potential, is in reverse. Potential says fulfillment, risk, achievement. Your potential is limitless. Soulmate. Compatibility, companionship, your best life partner. We have a lot of different kinds of soulmates. And that also came up in the reading yesterday. Chariot, which represents the sign of Cancer most directly. Oh, this is good. All right, well, the moon represents the sign of Cancer too, or the moon rules the sign of Cancer. Earth's moon, like the actual moon, rules the sign of Cancer. But on the 14th of this month, I think I mentioned it in last week's reading. Did I? I don't remember if I did or not. I meant to. If I didn't, I meant to. On the 14th, Black Moon Lilith entered Cancer. So I think it's really just going to be really heavily about feminine energy, because the moon is also feminine, or representative of the feminine energy, and like our menstrual cycles and all that, you know, everything that makes us, I guess, cis women. So I just feel that that feminine energy is gonna come up really heavily. When about like 5 years ago, I think probably at this point, the next card is the Page of Cups in reverse. When Black Moon Lilith entered Scorpio, I had done a video about it because I just had like all this, like a sense that it was going to be like really bad. And I talked in the video about like the masculine like leaving. So that was like a more heavily masculine energy that was going on there. And the masculine like getting upset and leaving. And sure enough, like 5 of my clients ended up contacting me or commenting on the videos and stuff like that, that like their men just like got up and left. Like people that were living together broke up, left, gone for weeks. One guy came back that I was told of, and then they ended up getting married. But he left and he moved in with another woman, like randomly, like here today, gone tomorrow. It was so crazy. But this, I think, is going to be, like I said, I think it's going to be like female empowerment. We might see that on a larger scale, you know, like beyond ourselves, like maybe on like the national stage or the global stage, something happening, like feminist, maybe something happens with Roe v. Wade. People keep playing with that and messing with that. I don't know. But the transit lasts through June, I believe. And then speaking of Scorpio, Pluto's going retrograde. There's a lot going on. Like I said, the sun enters Taurus this week, where Uranus is, the ruler of a sign of Aquarius. Mars is in Aries, which it rules. So is Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer, still there. Venus, I think, entered Taurus, which she rules, or is entering. I think she may have entered it last. I feel like that's something I talked about last week too. Anyway, I want to go through these cards. So we have the sun, which is about clarity, you know, shining a light on something, sort of like what's done in the dark, you know, coming to light. Maybe the opposite of black, right? Of the black moon, the void, would be the sun. And in love and relationship, it's kind of interesting though, because the sun is actually about the need for a break and maybe even separation, which we saw come up a lot too yesterday. in the moon reading. But overall, the sun is a wonderful card. Like, it just makes stuff better, you know. It brightens things up, like the sun is meant to do. Your plans will work out well, bringing you happiness, prosperity, and success. And you'll garner the recognition for your accomplishments that you so richly deserve. But the next card is the Two of Cups. So, I mean, this could go either way. It could mean something positive for a maybe soulmate connection. Again, not necessarily romantic, because as I was explaining yesterday with the moon reading, the full moon is in Libra, and Libra rules the 7th house of the zodiac, which is our closest one-on-one relationship. So it would be like this Two of Cups kind of energy. It could be like parent and child, boss, employee, BFFs, you know, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, boyfriend and boyfriend, you know, whatever it is. Co-workers, you know, just the people that we interact with all the time, our closest one-on-one relationships. So there could be a need for a break, again, from somebody. We go from 2 birds to 1. You need to be solo. Or there could be some improvement. There could be some clarity. There could be some light shown on. There could be some healing on a relationship as well. The next card is the King of Cups. He's in reverse. Oh, I picked up 2 cards by accident, and one is the Ace. So this looks positive. The King of Cups in reverse, if you actually read it that way, in traditional tarot, is representative of somebody who's willing to do whatever it takes for their happiness. Like, they're willing to go out, like, whatever, if they have their heart set on something, they're willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And that's true of them in love, in a general sense. At work, the King of Cups in reverse can be somebody that has some sort of like outburst, you know, and blow up. So again, that may mean a break of, again, like I said, boss, employee, co-workers. There could be some sort of fight at somebody's job or something, and maybe that calls for a break. Maybe you get sent home. Maybe, you know, somebody gets fired or something like that if something goes off at work. But I think that more importantly, whatever happens with these endings, because full moons are about endings, there are going to be new beginnings. So that's where the Ace of Cups would come in. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. We're going to use these for now, though. So we'll give a little shuffle. First opening to the Eight of Swords. It's about stuck energy, or at least the feeling of something being stuck. We got another sun showing up here. It's in reverse, but the sun is one of those cards that, whether it's in reverse or it's upright, it still pretty much maintains its meaning. Yeah, so the Eight of Swords can be Two of Pentacles was the next card after the Ace of Cups here. Somebody's juggling something, trying to find balance. That's another thing that this full moon is going to bring about, because that's what Libra is representative of, right? The scales of balance. Or in some cases, we look at it as the scales of justice, but it's about restoring, evening the playing field, and sort of like restoring equity and equality, which is, in fact, justice. Two of Pentacles can also be just having a lot on your plate and just trying to juggle a bunch of stuff. There's the King of Cups again, too. It's going to be an interesting reading. I'm only shuffling, and we're already getting like repeat cards and stuff. Cut. A lot of powerful transits right now, though. Oh, we have the Saturn and Aquarius. That's another big one. That's through July. Anyway, our overall energy here is going to be the Eight of Wands in reverse. So information could be stuck too. Messages could be stuck. This is also another card that can be about disagreements at work. In love, it can be about jealousy. I'm looking at this person moving though. I mean, they're on a motorcycle. And it's only 2 wheels, but my first thought was like the supply chain, you know, like the trucks and stuff being stuck. I was watching the news earlier and they were talking about also like in Texas. In Texas, they added all these like extra like checks and checkpoints on the road and stuff because they thought that they were like keeping illegals out. And really what they were doing was stopping like legitimate Mexican business people that belonged in Texas that are part of the supply chain. So they like fucked things up, and like there's a bunch of fruits and vegetables rotting on trucks now as a result that were meant to be in grocery stores. It was a whole mess. But there could be other stuff that's stuck, things that we're waiting for. You ordered a package or whatever, it doesn't come, it's held up, something like that because of the supply chain. Did I mention that this can also be a blow up at work, like with the King of Cups in reverse? Blow up at work, delayed information, delayed packages, mail, communication. It's stuck. Jealousy and love. All right, I think I covered them. So the card that most directly represents us this week is Justice. Oh, isn't this awesome? Okay, so this is the Libra energy, and this is the Venus energy. And it's upright. It's in our favor. The scales are balanced in the picture. That's what I was talking about. Surrounding energy, close friends, family members, co-workers, romantic, interests, mates, spouses, is the Hermit in reverse. Work and finance, the Emperor. So against maybe something happening with one's boss employee situation. Love and relationship. 8 of Cups in reverse. Someone walking away from something. Physical health. The High Priestess. And spiritual health. The Fool. I like that one. Can we see all the cards? Yeah. So beginning with Justice, the card that most directly represents us this week. This card has a lot to do, as I was saying, with like fairness, balance, harmony, equity, equality, karma. It weighs a lot on, or connects a lot to, like the law of cause and effect, and is really largely about things having consequences, and us sometimes being, called out or called upon to deal with the consequences of our actions, or of that of like someone we care about, a loved one or something, which can be difficult, but we have to respond to the things that we do. I mean, and sometimes that is positive. Sometimes it's just not. It's the other way. The way that I'm receiving the energy, though, with the card upright, and in thinking about, again, all the Venus activity, with the full moon, with her having entered Taurus, which is a home sign for her, I think, it's very much in our favor. And it's very positive that it's showing up here. So where you've been wronged, somebody else may be being made to deal with the consequences of their actions in your regard. So, I mean, it's in your favor, not necessarily in theirs. And it can be tied into the next card, because that is in the placement of surrounding energy, close friends, family members, co-workers. So, or again, romantic partners, love interests. So this is in, the people, places, and things that surround us and that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, perhaps. Even in reverse, the Hermit is very, very spiritual, represents the sign of Virgo. So I just got something about going backwards. We have Libra and then Virgo. Virgo does precede Libra in the zodiac. I just heard something about going backwards. I don't know, maybe they'll explain further. Because I don't really have time to pause. I mean, sometimes when I'm talking to you guys, you'll see that I try to pause for like a second or two, but I don't want to just be sitting here and having dead air while I'm trying to like hear something or figure it out. So they'll get my attention again. But there could be something again there having to do with going backwards, or maybe like I don't want to go backwards. You know, like we're moving forward here and now, the present. That could be what it is too. In any case, the Hermit, like I was saying, is can be a very spiritual card. It can have to do with like sometimes for me it's a lawyer, which sitting next to justice. You know, it could definitely be that some of us have like court issues or legal issues and things happening, and Hermit is representative of that. Also, can be like a professor for me. Can be about like institutions like church or you know, college or different types of organizations and things. Sometimes when it shows up in reverse, it's like we're really focused on, you know, like finding the truth, and the situation is such that there's really something that we should just be like letting go of and not harping on it, but like we want to keep digging and digging and digging. That can be what the Hermit in reverse is about sometimes. Of course, the Hermit is also about solitude, introspection, meditation, taking some time to be by yourself. And we all need those times. Nothing wrong with being by yourself. So, you know, that reminded me about the sun with which we started. So the sun can be about a break, and the Two of Cups is behind it. Maybe you need a break from somebody that's in your one-on-one relationships. You guys are taking a break, or you're breaking up. There's going to be separation. There's going to be a split. That can be this card also in work and finance means that you could be likely to finally get to the bottom of some sort of work issue. So again, maybe something's going on at your job and somebody's going to have a blow up, or something's going to come out. Some information is going to be revealed or something. Something's unclear at work, or it's been bothering you. That's, you know, maybe something's not being done properly, or people aren't behaving as they should, and it's like getting to you. There's something bothering you about it. Whatever that is, the matter may be cleared up this week. And again, it could involve the boss, say, crossing the Emperor. Maybe a boss is who tried to wrong you, or a company that you were working for tried to wrong you. Maybe they owe you, you know, some sort of equity. They owe you unemployment or workman's comp or Social Security. I don't know. Your regular paycheck. They didn't pay you properly or something. In love and relationship, the Hermit is almost always about rekindling a relationship from the past. Oh, maybe that's what the going back means. Well, like getting back together, getting back together. Or at least for somebody, or for some, mean that. I'm gonna move on to the Emperor though. If we come up with anything else for the Hermit, of course I'll let you know. So the Emperor most directly represents the planet Mars, which I've also mentioned this you know, at the start of the reading. Mars, again, ruler of the signs of Aries and Scorpio, currently located in Aries, along with Chiron, the wounded healer. And oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I was going to say, did Mars? No, it is there. It is there. I think. Or was that Mercury that's in Aries? Why am I like this today? I feel kind of foggy. Because I feel like Mars was just in Aquarius. I feel like Mars went into Pisces and Mercury went into Aries. And I misspoke before. I think that is correct. I'm pretty sure that's correct. and I apologize for mixing it up. In any case, this card, the Emperor, does represent the planet Mars, and Mars does rule the sign of Aries and is the ancient ruler of the sign of Scorpio, the esoteric ruler of the sign of Scorpio. Those are correct. And the cards showing up in a general sense can be about like using our mind and logic and, what we feel makes sense and is the most, appropriate or organized thing to do, a way to go about something, rather than using your heart, using your emotions. And sometimes that's necessary. Somebody has to be like, draw the line and be the one to, put their foot down and say, no, this has to be done this way. Sometimes when there's like hard choices that have to be made, important hard choices, somebody has to be able to maintain like their concentration, their focus, and lead, take a leadership role, and dictate, have that confidence and assertiveness, like regardless of feelings, or maybe of the fact that they're dealing with one of their closest one-on-one relationships, so regardless of the fact that it's a family member or it's a good friend or, it's a boss or it's an employee that's been with you for 20 years, 30 years or whatever, like it's a parent, it's a child, you can still sort of separate that and take things seriously and make the important decisions, and handle the important business that you need to handle, because you have just that much self-control, and sort of like mastery, and focus. The Emperor as a person can be very much male, and masculine, and just like a strong energy, often older, wiser, sort of like established, mature, as they would say. Maybe a family man, a married man, a man with children. Could be a divorcee, a widower, just somebody that's been around the block a few times, as they say. And specific to work, for you, it means that your work, if you were employed, gainfully employed, or you have your own business or whatever it is, should be going well. And your efforts, so like the hard work that you're putting into it is not going unnoticed. You should pay particular attention to organization and follow through, and making sure that you checked off the list and everything, and you've followed the appropriate steps, and you didn't skip anything. You did things that, again, in the appropriate manner, the way that it's understood that's supposed to be done, not taking any shortcuts or skipping anything, like the Emperor would do it, and your results should be, just awesome, and you would continue to be recognized. If you are unemployed or, and are out of work or whatever, and looking for work, or even if you have a job, you might still be looking for work. And if that's the case, you might need to sort of like try to like step outside of yourself and look at yourself from the outside in, and as in terms of like the perspective of how others see you, and explore like the reasons why they should hire you, and then use that as your template when you go into the interviews, and when you're doing your resume, when you're presenting yourself. You're going to be putting yourself out in the manner that is, again, appropriate. I'm trying to find a better word. But I hope you understand what I'm saying in terms of like, when I say appropriate, I mean, because it's the Emperor. So the Emperor is about, again, organization, things being done a particular way, so you need to present, in this case with the work, you need to present yourself in a particular way to get this job. And that is how you will be successful if you go about it that way. Specific to finances, not necessarily having anything to do with your job. Maybe you have side gigs, or you have money just coming in, or whatever. You got old money, you're you're spoiled, whatever. The card shows a need for discipline right now. So these are weekly readings. It's just a week. Next week things will be completely different. But this week we need to be like disciplined, and again use that logic and be ready to make like the important decisions, to make our finances work for us. Paying attention to the relationship that we have with money, and our Look at the relationship we have with money. You know, you can have a healthy relationship, you can have a dysfunctional relationship with money. And then in terms of manifesting, if you are like the type of person that feels that you need to hold it because you're not going to get any more, then that's also, you know, not necessarily the best relationship with it. So it's about examining that and not really focusing on what we don't have, you know, or worrying about, I don't have this or I'm not going to have that. Rather than doing that, like instead focusing on what we do have and being thankful for it and using it in the best way, you know, like being the best stewards as we can be. And then that is going to keep our money flowing and working for us. So again, with needing a break and the Two of Cups, when we look at this Eight of Cups in reverse, in terms of love and relationship, because this card can mean not only is somebody thinking about ending a relationship, but it's likely a really long-term relationship. So again, this could be like a marriage, it's crossing justice. This can be a court situation. We got, you know, family court, divorce court, or whatever, in order to have a dissolution of whatever our situation is here. And it's again, it's like a long-term situation that may be involving a father, children, a family. And the card, you know, sort of gives us a warning that we should, you know, definitely give it some thought. That doesn't mean punk out and don't do it if you have your heart set on it. I don't mean that, you know, but thinking things through. So if you decide that this is something that has to happen in your life, that there's, you know, this relationship is not able to be fixed anymore, or whatever it is, then, you know, sort of making a plan for yourself as to what your next steps are. Again, you're getting organized like the Emperor. Then sometimes also, like when we're challenged in relationships, the difficult parts, like, how do I want to say this? I'm seeing the importance of lessons, and this is also something that came up in the moon reading yesterday, actually. My readings tend to, like, you know, sort of align with each other, which I appreciate. I don't like when I see people like they do, you know, sometimes they do like more than one tarot reading, or they do one astrological reading and one tarot, and the stuff doesn't line up. And it's just like, it's like, well, what am I supposed to follow? I can't listen to you. So I appreciate it. What do I want to say here? Okay, so again, ultimately, you may end up leaving no matter what. And if you decide that, I'm sure that that's the right thing for you to do. But in either case, whether you change your mind and you decide to stay or you do leave, it's the lesson that's like the really important part, because it's about karmic completion. So as we talked about, we started out with the justice, and I was trying to explain about how it's about karma and our consequences and cause and effect, and, you know, sort of paying the piper. And that's coming up as a very important part of this week, is like sort of completing this lesson, so you don't have to repeat it again in this life and another life or whatever. It's done. It's truly completed. Also, there's an importance in, you know, dealing with these things in like a calm, again, clear-headed, mature manner, like the Emperor. That's going to be important too. It's a key. If you're single and looking for love, then this is the time to just be involved with the world, with society, with outside. Like, we outside, you know. I just had a conversation about that with one of the viewers, you know, friends that I met on Facebook earlier, you know, like hot girl summer type stuff. That's what it is. It's like, get involved with the world, you know, like be out and about, be around, and meet people. Not the time to be like staying home and feeling lonely, which also came up in the reading yesterday, the moon reading. As a matter of fact, some of the cards even like you use the word lonely and stuff on them. Anyway, I wanted to make sure that I made the distinction between being alone and being lonely, because they don't have to mean the same thing. And we should be okay. We should be more than okay. We should be good with being alone and spending time with ourselves. And basically, if you want to meet somebody, get out there to where they may be. Moving on to the High Priestess and physical health. So there could be information about your health that has not yet come to light. And again, this week it may come to light finally because of the sun. But you're going to have to be, this card shows up to say that you're going to have to be an active participant in your healthcare, and possibly a conduit to it coming to light. You may be the person who discovers, who digs up the information. If you feel that something's going on with you, something's not right with your body or whatever, you have concerns, you're your best advocate, and you're going to have to be that this week. The High Priestess most directly represents the sign of Gemini. It can also be about water signs in traditional tarot. So, could be maybe specifically a Gemini, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces that's experiencing this week, where you're going through some sort of health issue and you don't feel like you're getting answers or whatever. Do not let, doctors or whoever it is you're dealing with, whatever kind of practitioner it is, don't let them brush you off. Again, you get involved, you ask questions. Don't try to cure yourself with WebMD, but educate yourself, to the best that you're able, so that you can have active, again, be an active participant and have conversations with these professionals to get to the bottom of whatever's going on with you. And if there are ways that you can support your own health, through things like diet, exercise, vitamins, minerals, whatever, make sure you're doing that too. Those commercials, which I hate. I hate these commercials, especially the new HIV ones. All people are smiling. I'm like, HIV is nothing to smile about. These commercials piss me off, but they're the prescription commercials, right? The medicines, and they, again, everybody's smiling, and then they rush through all the things that the medicine can do to you, to kill you. This is a great medicine. It can cause and they rattle off this list, and then they come back to you with a clear voice again and say, ask your doctor if such and such is right for you. This is the time when you're going to be doing stuff like that. If you have an idea about something that you think can help you, that's going to cure you or make you feel better or advance you in some way, ask, again, talk to the medical professionals that you're dealing with, whatever kind of practitioner or provider it is. Talk to them and be an active participant in healing yourself. Moving on to Major Arcana card 0, the Fool. This is another very spiritual card, so that's why I said, I like this one when it landed in that spiritual placement. You're likely to be sort of in or coming to the end of where you've been experimenting with maybe new things, new practices or whatever. So you're coming to an end to that period of experimentation. And you may feel still trying out, you may still want to try out a lot of different, practices, approaches to spirituality, or even religiosity, because for example, when I say spirituality, there are ancient African religions, for example. They're considered religions, but they're at the same time they're also spiritual practices, simultaneously. So they're organized, like Ifa, for example, right? It's organized. You go, and I have friends that are in it. I'm not part of it. I'm not saying that I'm against it. I'm just saying I'm not part of it. So I don't want to get into too much detail. It's not my place. But You know, there is not a priest or a preacher, but there's a leader. There are leaders, there are heads. It's organized. You know, they determine when you're ready to take the next step and to grow, whatever. So even though it's spiritual practice, it's not church. It's kind of church. You know, it's a different version. Or Buddhism, for example. You know, or Hinduism is maybe atypical for a lot of people. The way that you go in and you pray and you keep reading like the same mantras over and over, and there's reason for that, you know, but it's a different kind of practice. So anyway, I'm just seeing a lot of things like that, and this card can be about wanting to try, like just wanting like new and deeper spiritual understanding and knowledge. And you just feel sort of really drawn to do this now, maybe more so than you ever had before. Maybe you weren't interested in before, and it's like newly awakened in you, this fire, and you have to know more about whatever this is that's, you know, intriguing you. And you may have situations. So this could be where the disagreement comes in with people, your closest one-on-one relationships. Thinking again about the Libra full moon, your friends and family and things, they might not understand like where this is coming from or why. You know, why don't you want to do the family religion? Our family has been practicing the same religion for 100 years. Like, why don't you want to be this? You know, and it doesn't have to be religion. And that just came up first in my head. You know, it could be the complete opposite. Maybe you don't want a religion or practice at all. Maybe you want to be an atheist. And nobody gets it, you know. How could you all of a sudden not believe in God? You may say, I never did. I'm just doing what y'all told me to do. I never believed in it. You know, so something like that. And you're just being really drawn to looking into things for yourself. And you should go for it, you know, and not let yourself be sort of inhibited by other or turned off or have your voice diminished and your desires for yourself diminished or squashed by other people, outside influences. Now, I would have used those cards to clarify these, but I realized I did not shuffle them in front of you. I like to shuffle. Maybe I'm meant to do a different spread today, so I won't do that. I'll take these down. This card just fell away, so maybe somebody needs to see that. Everything is fine. Like, get out of your head. You're overthinking. Everything is fine. I'll do a cross for the week. So we looked at the sun. I'll throw it in here. We looked at the Two of Cups. Oh, I just threw it on top of another Eight of Cups. So somebody could, again, be walking away from a relationship specifically. King of Cups, throwing him in. Ace, the Two, and he was another Hermit as well. All right, so now we will mix these up. And you can see that I'm doing this with like no rhyme or reason. Some will go in the middle, some on top, some on the bottom. I don't care. Four of Cups. So more of this like free will sort of energy, because the Four of Cups is about, you're in a position where you got to decide, you're going to get up and do something about, you know, your life, about it feeling boring, or about you know, the disappointments that you keep experiencing, or that opportunities aren't coming your way. Opportunities maybe aren't coming your way, again, because you're not out where they are. You're in your house, you're being, you know, you're wallowing in self-pity and being lonely and, you know, as opposed to alone, all that kind of stuff. Your responsibilities may distract you from noticing all the gifts that God is presenting to you. Be open to investigating opportunities that come your way. The next card is the Nine of Wands. It is in reverse. Let me go ahead and shuffle these while I'm at it. So again, we began with soulmate. Where did that fall from? That was very odd. I don't know if it fell in the frame or not, but one of my medicine bottles just fell from a shelf. Like where I just don't feel I should have fallen from just now for no reason. Appreciate. Your twin appreciates you. See the blessings. Practice appreciation. The next card is Inner Child. Playful, happy, enjoy the present moment, and live life to the fullest. And Fear. Darkness, hesitation, insecurity. Know that you are protected. The next card is Loss, which also came up in the reading yesterday. Loss, separation, all those energies. Let's see what this says. Loss of self and identity. Oh my God. I had like a revelation about an epiphany about this earlier. That when I was doing the reading, the moon reading, and I started getting this feeling of like this energy of like death surrounding and just like loss. And I was trying to explain to everybody like what it was I was feeling at the time and all the different things that it can mean to different people. And then today, all of a sudden I had like this epiphany that it was sort of like about like having a longing, you know, for someone and like maybe like missing someone. And so that's why I felt sort of like an agony, like a death, but didn't necessarily have anything to do with death. Anyway, loss of self and identity. So this is even worse. This is losing you. And it goes to, again, what I keep repeating too, about being alone or being lonely. You know, we should be able to be with ourselves. And if we can't be with ourselves, if you can't be alone, that's something that has to be worked on. That's something that has to be dealt with. Discover your true self again. Recent past. Near future. Message from the higher self, the 5D placement. Real life, the 3D placement. And the heart of the matter. Love specific. Or love and relationship specific. And again, our overall energy is the 4 of Cups. Like we make our own reality, we make our own opportunities. And again, the overall energy here is appreciate. Recent past. The 7 of Wands. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground. Choose your battles wisely. And the first thing I thought about was what we were just talking about. What I ended on with the last reading was you getting into different sorts of new ideologies or practices or religions or forms of spirituality, just new aspects of you and becoming your own, as opposed to being lost, and losing yourself and just turning into like a puppet of someone else, or an image of somebody else. This is all the new things that are coming to you from that. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may have come as a surprise, but you still want to leap into action and to passionately pursue every possibility. This can also be about, exactly that, new opportunity, especially in work or love. Wands are about movement. They can be about travel, and sometimes work that involves travel, or meeting somebody involving travel, or maybe they're at a distance, they're abroad. Different connections. And speaking of being abroad, the star also here, and the star can be about like online dating and the internet and texting and things. So maybe there is some sort of distance as an opportunity, maybe to work, distance learning or distance work or relationship. The major arcana card 17, the star, is also about wish fulfillment, dreams coming true, prayers being answered, goals being reached, wishes being granted. You're about to take a big leap forward with your life. Worry will be replaced with optimism, fear with hope, and joy is coming home to roost. I feel for a lot of people this is going to be tied to like work, career opportunities too, and involving some sort of creative outlet of yours, maybe. Inspiration, productivity, creations, bring out the greatness within. So this is again also about formulating who you are as a person, as an individual. In the near future, we got some fear here, anxiety, sleepless nights, like pent up energy. Your worries and fears aren't real though. They're fueled by focusing on the negative, which gives power to that of which you're afraid. Stop worrying. Let go of fear, and everything will be okay. And I paused for a second because I noticed that the Four of Pentacles was there, and the Four of Pentacles for me is about letting go of something. Look how the squirrel is squirreling, right? How he's hoarding these nuts. These nuts. These nuts. He's hoarding these nuts. Yeah, he doesn't have to. He should let them go. The Four of Pentacles for me is about holding on to something that we like there's no need, and that doesn't really benefit us, and we know that it doesn't, but we try to justify it and say that it does by saying, well, at least, so I guess he'll say, well, at least I get to have a snack. Well, there's so many other things that you could be eating here in the forest. Maybe better things, maybe things, that you don't have to hoard. Or there's so many more. You don't have to hold on to that. You can afford to let that go and just eat the ones you have, appreciate that, and take another one later. But no, he thinks he has to hold everything. He has to take it all, and hold on to it. And sometimes, again, there was a warning about being like that with money this week. And we should not be. We should just be organized, but not like a hoarder, not like holding on to it so tightly as if manifestation isn't a thing. And, relationships, jobs, pretty much any number of things that we're holding on to that we know don't serve us. This is, again, like the cards asking us to let those things or those people go. And it's all showing up with the cutoff queen. The Queen of Swords is the energy that represents, and she is the person, the archetype, the type that will just cut off stuff that does not serve her. So we should feel empowered if we have this energy this week to finally get rid of whatever this thing is. It's the job that, where all the people can't stand us and they mistreat us, but at least we get a paycheck, so we're there. Or it's the relationship where, the guy, he beats the shit out of us or whatever, and he doesn't help us with any of the chores or taking care of the kids or maybe even paying the bills. But, at least, you have somebody there. You're not alone. And this is the kind of thing that the cards are showing up for us to get rid of. All of your life experiences have prepared you for this moment of truth. It's time to declutter your home, to clear away situations that aren't working for you anymore, and to disengage from people who create more drama than happiness in your life. The Queen of Swords is experienced, self-sufficient, brilliant, and funny. And she may also be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone like into those traits or attributes. And masculine, it may be you more so than the feminine who's going through this. You're holding on to maybe someone, maybe the karmic partner, as they say. I tend not to use the word karmic that way because all of these relationships are karmic. They're meant for us to have relationships. So even like the twin flame, the so-called twin flame relationship is a karmic relationship. But you guys know what I mean. It's used like a derogatory term, the karmic. Maybe that's what it is you need to let go of. It could be emotions too. Maybe it's not something that's a physical thing or person, but it's negative emotions of which we need to let go. So ego or guilt, the inability to forgive, regret, whatever it is. Something is not serving you. You're holding on to it. Because you again trying to justify that it benefits you in some way. It does not, and it needs to go. And maybe the reason it needs to go is because your twin or soulmate is seeking you. But they're unable to connect until you clear that out. I mean, the message is also sort of like addressed to the feminine here too. Your divine masculine. Maybe who is seeking you, your soulmate. $5D. Message from a higher self. Yep, just as we've been talking about. So there is loss, so there is separation, there is walking away from somebody, there is solitude, there's being left alone. There's hard decisions, maybe more than one hard decision that has to be made. Should we walk away? Should we not? We've been in this relationship a long time. A desire to move on. The search for something more meaningful. Spiritual and emotional growth. And the answer is yes, even it's been a long time. Like some people say that, well, it's hard. I want to leave. I've been miserable for the past 5 years, but we've been together for 15. How do you just get up and leave? You get up and leave because you've been miserable. Okay, that's why you're getting up and leaving. You don't owe this other person like the whatever number of years it is you have to your life. You don't even know when your number is going to be up. It could be up tomorrow. What if you just gave it all to someone who didn't appreciate it? And you didn't appreciate it yourself. The fact that you never don't know when we're going to, you're not going to wake up anymore. So you should be living life to the fullest. And that's not living life to the fullest if you're staying with somebody that you're miserable from. So again, remember 8 of Cups from the previous spread in reverse talked about leaving, a long-term relationship. So that's where I got that from. It seems to be there's another relationship that is either waiting for you already or would come if you would clear that out. With the Ace of Cups also showing up here. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts or insights. And this card from the Twin Flame Oracle is saying it rise above. So it too is suggesting that you get away from this thing. Drama, obstacles, pettiness. Find the strength to rise. Find the strength to literally rise up, like stand up, get up out of your seat, off the couch, whatever, and get out away from whatever this is that's holding you back. And for some, keeping you from a romantic partner, a soulmate. For others, maybe keeping you from some different type of soulmate, somebody that you need to meet, to further yourself, maybe in your career. But you're holding on to the old job, you're not meeting them. Or you're holding on to fear about, doing your resume or about interviewing. So you're not, meeting this person that could help you, to parlay your creative outlets into a job. Something like that. 3D life. Another Ace of Cups. We got the Ace of Cups up here. We got the Ace of Cups up here. New beginning wants to come out. Falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship. Spiritual growth and enhanced intuition. Maybe even a new home is awaiting some of us. But first we have to accept. We have to allow the stuff that needs to end around us to end. And then accept that it's ending. And that means that we're going to be entering a new phase. That's what the Ten of Swords is all about. The end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better. Somebody could even be recovering from some sort of addiction. And, they too getting a new shot. And it's partnered here with the Seven of Pentacles. So you sort of laid the groundwork, but you need to follow through now. Think Emperor again. We got to follow through. Seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action. Any worry, like the Nine of Swords here that it's crossing, is unnecessary. No need to worry. I've told you guys many times before. My mother taught me when I was very little the phrase, if you pray, don't worry. If you worry, don't pray. Because if you're going to be somebody who worries, it means you don't really believe in prayer or manifestation, right? So don't bother. If you do pray, then you make focus intentions, then it means you have the belief that you took care of it by doing that. So don't worry. And the reason this is so important, or one of the reasons this is so important, is because, again, it's a loss of you. It's your self-worth that's being sacrificed while you keep, putting your energy into something that you're supposed to be rid of. Value, self-esteem, confidence. Be empowered by valuing yourself and by prioritizing yourself above who else's feelings you may hurt. Where did I see that? Oh, I watched with my girls yesterday on Netflix, that ultimatum thing. And one of the guys was talking about making a decision for him. He had to make a decision for his life. Is he going to marry, or is he going to be with this person, be with that person? And he said, basically that he couldn't worry anymore about, hurting someone's feelings and just doing things that he didn't want to do to protect someone else's feelings, because he was hurting his own by doing that. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys too here with this. At the heart of the matter, the Three of Wands. So it means progress, right? Abundance. You can sort of see or at least sense things taking shape, taking form, and begin to believe that they will come to pass when we see the Three of Wands. It means, again, wands for me are about movement. So there's movement in whatever it is we've been manifesting. Abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time, because threes in general can be about patience. And make long-term plans. So like believing it's going to happen. So it's like, well, I'm going to go on vacation in December. And just believing, like, December, that's a long way off. Any number of things can happen. That doesn't mean I don't plan for going on my vacation in December. You go ahead and you do that. And if something does come up, you deal with that later. But right now, I have the firm belief that my plans are going to come to pass. So come December, I'll be getting on a plane or a boat or whatever it is. That's what the universe means for us to do here. And justice is back. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right and stand up for your beliefs. But things, again, also, not only are we doing what we know is right, and that could definitely mean right for you, right for us in terms of prioritizing ourselves, but also, again, things happening in our favor too. That doesn't necessarily mean we get everything we want. Sometimes when you ask for something, you ask the genie, you rub the magic lamp, and you have to word these things very specifically when you're praying or when you're making focus intention, because, Two of Cups can pop up, but again, it's surrounded by these three spilled ones. Well, I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for the spilled ones. No, but you said Two of Cups. You didn't say you didn't want anything else over there, So we could get our wish, maybe not exactly how we wanted it. There could be a variation. And that may be disappointing to us. This can be about disappointment, doubt, pessimism, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation, and crying over spilled milk, which could also be tied to this. Like, You know, well, I gave so much of my energy to this job, to this relationship, to this whatever. You know, okay, you can't get those years back. Does that mean you should give more years? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, you still, the answer is get out. Either way, right? Crossing. I guess I laid 2 cards there and I hadn't realized. We got pause and we got transformation. Pause says inaction, calmness. Take a step back and wait for a sign. And transformation says breakthrough, reinvention. You're ready for the next level. And maybe because we have like 2 groups of people. Some people who will not be sure what next step to take or what to do. So they or they're in a holding pattern. There's a need for them to be patient. So they're paused. And for you, for those people, whoever that applies to, there is inaction. But there should also be calmness, right? Because you, again, planning for your future. You're making long-term plans. So in the meantime, just take a step back and wait for a sign. Wait for the message to tell you, okay, it's time to take the next step. And for those who are who are meant to move now, there is breakthrough. There's reinvention because you're ready now for the next level. Love and relationship specific. This is the crossing card. Oh, one of those was the crossing card, and one was meant to be like that too. Well, I did it that way, so I guess that's how it was meant to be. Here we have death. So it's here crossing this transformation. That's what death is all about, transformation. Major Arcana card, death, represents the sign of Scorpio most directly. It's the end of a phase or situation. So even in the love specific placement, there is evidence of, again, there's a death, there's something coming to an end, the relationship's coming to an end, or this phase of the relationship is coming to an end, this way of behaving with one another is coming to an end. It could even be the break, if we've been on a break, we've been separated, that could be coming to an end, or our being together every day could be coming to an end because I need a break. There's some sort of change that's happening here, and things are not going to exist in the same way as they have anymore. Wow, there's another death here. Both death cards showed up in the placement of love and relationship. It's time to release the past and to move on to something new. This ending is the first step on the way to a happier future. So we have 2 endings and 2 new beginnings. 2 aces of cups and 2 death cards. If you're willing to let go of what's blocking you, something new is waiting for you. And it may have to do with a break or a major decision that you have to make, with the 4 of Swords being the next card. Thoroughly think things through before making a decision. Continuing to overanalyze isn't going to get you any closer to a resolution, but meditation and prayer will bring you the answers that you seek. So just like what I just said to you, if we pray, don't worry. If we worry, don't pray. Right? Overanalyzing or worrying is not going to get you an answer, but prayer will, according to this. So the 4 of Swords can be about planning for a trip, for one thing, a decision that you're having to make, and you got to think, you got to sleep on it, you got to think on it, you got to figure it out, maybe meditate. It's also about recovery, restoration after like a 3 of Swords. This is when you're beginning to feel better about things, about yourself, heal. And specific to love and relationship in the tarot, the 4 of Swords is about a break. So again, this can be about the end of a break, and somebody's returning to your life, and that's what the Ace of Cups is about. Or there's an end, again, to a behavior in the relationship, to an aspect of it, or to the relationship itself. And we're moving on. And then in any case, there's something new that awaits afterward. Settling, scarcity, insecurity, lack of faith. Believe that you deserve the best, and don't settle for crap or a crappy relationship, because because this is the love and relationship placement. This is saying don't settle for less than you deserve in love and relationship. And it goes hand in hand with this. Crossing is compromise. That works, right? You don't have to settle, but sometimes we're not going to get everything we want. It's 5 of Cups. We're not going to get everything we want, but there has to be give and take then. It has to be fair, justice. You give a little, I give a little. Mutual understanding, flexibility, give and take brings rewards. And that's what I have for you this week. We're not going to talk about stuff on the calendar because all 3 of the major Abrahamic religions are all celebrating holidays. Easter, Passover, and Ramadan. And as far as the other transits, we've already experienced all these major transits already. That I've mentioned a couple already. So like most recently again was the full moon in Libra. Pluto is going retrograde. I think that's next week though. Black moon Lilith in Cancer on the 14th of the month. So that was just a couple days ago. Venus entered Taurus just a couple days ago. Saturn Aquarius a couple days ago. And so that's it. The sun enters Taurus this week on the 19th. So that's important. But nothing to really chat about. Juno, the asteroid, enters... Is it Pisces? I think it's Pisces. So that's another feminine energy, Juno. That mother energy too. That's it though. So I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope that it is helpful to you. And, you know, I just feel like some of you may need support. And I try to offer it as many ways as I can. We have Divine Oneness. This is the group, which is the closed group. We have Divine Girl Talk, which is a public page. People tend to message me. You can always comment and, you know, talk back and forth with other people. And I don't know if you need more than that. I mean, I have services and I'm not the only one. But, you know, I just feel like some people are going to need help with this, you know, in terms of ending some of these long-term things, whether it's a job or a relationship or situation with family or whatever. I want to try to help if I can. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys again soon. Namaste.